Nothing else comes close. Kingfisher is a class apart.
What's happening, you guys, and welcome back to another video on our channel. People lose every day, whether it's in a match of soccer or in a world of virtual reality. However, today, we'll check out a different type of loss, a loss that changed lives completely. These people had opulent mansions for residences, multi-million-dollar yachts, and so much more. They had everything, but sadly, it didn't last. Poor decisions, bad luck, and other factors caused them to lose everything they had. Let's see our list of 11 people who lost just about everything. Number 11, MC Hammer. In the early 1990s, it was Hammer time, and MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This was a huge hit. This was all over the place at the time. At the height of his career, he was worth about $30 million, and he wasted little time in blowing it all up. MC Hammer invested a lot of money in his friends, family, cars, expensive toys, and poor real estate investments. Owing to his massive debt, he filed for bankruptcy in the year 2000. He didn't know how to manage his assets, and as a result, lost everything. Hammer is now a Californian priest. Number 10, Patricia Kluge. She married John Kluge, the world's richest man, in 1990, having a personal fortune of $5 billion. Patricia was left with just $1 million after the divorce, along with the opulent Albemarle estate in the Virginia countryside. She then founded the Kluge Estate Winery and Vineyard. Patricia took a $65 million loan to develop more than a dozen luxury homes, which turned out to be a mistake. Patricia was forced to sell her Albemarle estate after defaulting on her loans due to the 2008 financial crisis. Number 9, Adolf Merkel. Worth $12.8 billion, Adolf Merkel was once one of Germany's wealthiest citizens. Merkel was severely impacted by the 2008 financial crisis, losing $3.6 billion, but still remains one of Germany's wealthiest men. By the end of 2008, his investment company VEM experienced a severe liquidity crisis, announcing $6 billion in losses. Merkel then made a series of risky investments, losing more money in the process. Merkel ended his life through a tragic series of events. Number 8, Vijay Mallya. Vijay Mallya is a former billionaire and Indian businessman currently facing extradition from the United Kingdom to India on charges of gross financial fraud. After taking over his father's mid-sized business aged 28, Mallya became India's wealthiest liquor tycoon. The company grew into a multi-billion-dollar corporation, amassing a personal fortune of $1.5 billion in the process. His problems began when the debt on his Kingfisher Airlines began to climb. He was forced to resign as chairman. Mallya left India with millions of dollars in debt and sought asylum in the United Kingdom. He went from billionaire to criminal in a matter of months. Number 7, Sean Quinn. Sean Quinn was once Ireland's wealthiest man with a net worth of around $6 billion in 2005. Sean Quinn lost almost all of his family fortune shortly after the financial crisis struck the Irish banking system, the majority of which can be traced to the Anglo-Irish Bank's massive losses. Because of insider loans provided by Quinn Insurance, one of his companies was fined €3.25 million by Ireland's financial regulator in 2008. Quinn filed for personal bankruptcy in 2011 after several cases of liquidation lawsuits, corporate fines, and fraud. Number 6, Bernard Madoff. Bernie Madoff effectively defrauded many investors of billions of dollars for over 20 years before his arrest in 2008. Madoff promised his investors a high and consistent return achieved by pooling all of the funds in one bank account. Federal investigations revealed a $64.8 billion scam after his scheme collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis when he was unable to gain further clients due to the lack of liquidity in the markets. Madoff amassed billions of dollars in personal capital during his operating years. Number 5, Elizabeth Holmes. In 2015, Elizabeth Holmes, an inventor and entrepreneur, became the world's youngest self-made female billionaire after her healthcare technology firm Theranos was valued at $9 billion. Her tenure as a billionaire, however, was cut short as federal investigations loomed over her company, alleging that it had misled investors about her new revolutionary blood testing technology. Her personal wealth and reputation were also severely harmed as a result of these charges. Number 4. Halsey Minor. Halsey Minor was a prolific technology pioneer during the last 2 decades. He founded the technology publishing conglomerate CNET in 1993, then selling it to CBS in 2008 for $1.7 billion. He reinvested the proceeds in cutting-edge technology firms that were hugely successful, including Vignette Software, Grand Central, and Salesforce.com, which is publicly traded with a market capitalization in excess of $30 billion. He put money into non-technology companies he didn't understand, and he lost his billion-dollar fortune in just 5 years, filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection in May 2013. Number 3. Alan Stanford. Robert Alan Stanford, a former billionaire financier, has been serving a 110-year sentence in jail since 2008, being found guilty of a major financial fraud. He was the chairman of the now-defunct Stanford Financial Group. In 2009, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, initiated an investigation into Alan Stanford and his business, charging him with fraud for allegedly selling $8 billion in high-yield certificates of deposit in a huge Ponzi scheme. In June 2009, he was apprehended on charges of mail and wire fraud, money laundering, and obstruction of justice. Number 2. Ike Batista. Over 2 decades, Brazilian Ike Batista made and lost a multi-billion-dollar fortune in the mining and oil exploration industries. In 2011, Batista was the 8th richest person on the planet and the richest in Brazil, with a personal fortune of $30 billion. After a sudden crash in the mining industry and the loss of one of his largest businesses, OGX, his downfall began. Forbes announced in 2013 that Ike Batista had lost nearly $20 billion in a year. In 2014, his personal wealth had plummeted from $200 million to negative due to his enormous debt and continuously declining company stock. Brazilian authorities detained Ike Batista in a high-profile money laundering case in January 2017. Number 1. Jocelyn Wildenstein. According to Money, Jocelyn Wildenstein, once worth billions, is now worth much less. In May 2018, the former wife of Alec Wildenstein, the late billionaire art dealer, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. According to the New York Post, she claimed to have no monthly income and relied on $900 in Social Security checks and help from family and friends. Her financial woes, she claims, are the result of a shoddy divorce settlement. Wildenstein told the New York Post that she was given even more money after spending the majority of the $2.5 billion she got. In the deal, she received 2 paintings, one by Diego Velázquez, which turned out to be a forgery, and another by Paul Cézanne, which sold for a fraction of its original value. In May 2018, the former billionaire told the New York Post she is on the lookout for a top lawyer to get her everything she feels she is supposed to have for her lifetime. This brings us to the end of our video, which we hope you guys found insightful. And if you did, do hit that like button, and if you want more content like this in the future, then all you have to do is hit subscribe and the bell icon to receive updates and notifications going forward. And with that, I'll be catching you guys later in another video.